Welcome friends, welcome to this video. You know what's so great about paper craft artistry is, I can't speak for you, I can only speak for me. But speaking for me, I can say this, there's always something to learn. I think this is a craft, like so many other crafts, that ebbs and flows. Not only do you learn a thing and you build upon that thing, but the inspiration, the ideas, the imagination that kicks in when you start playing, when you take the time, when you practice techniques, it's one of the most fulfilling things. Do you agree with that idea or not? I've heard from a lot of you throughout the years now of posting content, creating classes, talking about products, sharing ideas. I hear from a lot of you some beautiful, beautiful sentiments about what it is that you gain from your paper crafting. So here I'm hanging on to this book because something that I don't know if I could say I've learned it, but something I'm very much appreciating right now is that we just finished building a class from this collection called One Perfect Day from 49 and Market. And the previous video to this one talks about that collection quite a bit because I was introducing it and the things that I was going to be using. I didn't use quite a bit of it. I used paper pack, one single solid paper, and then a lot of the laser cuts because I'm a super big fan of laser cuts. You know why I love laser cuts so much? I love laser cuts so much because they're a die cut, obviously. There's not a white or off-white anything. It is just right around the exact shape that you're getting. And I think that is ever so lovely. And so this is a very sophisticated collection. But what I want to be, maybe I haven't learned this. Maybe I just want to be better at it. I did this with 49 and Market's terracotta collection. I pulled that collection back out. I made a book. I have a video about that. And I just banged out that collection. I used it and I used it and I used it and I enjoyed it so much. And yes, there are different ideas out there about a collection that you can take it, and we've used the term kill a kit. You can take a collection, you could kill a kit. Or you could take a collection, you could just have it and you know it's there and you dive into it when you want to. So there's like no right or wrong way about this. We have to go into these things with what works for us. What works for me right now, and this could change again, and that's the beauty of it for sure. I love that we're not completely anchored down to any one idea, but I'm kind of referring to over here because I have a nice little stash of stuff over here from the One Perfect Day. What's working for me right now is that I want to kind of slow down a little bit and enjoy the things that come into my workspace. And this paper from One Perfect Day is very beautiful. Yes, it's very wedding centric. The class that I am teaching using this as the highlighted collection is not wedding centric. It is favorite things, florals. It's floral centric. There's florals on everything and there's a lot of them. On purpose. I like it that way. But I wasn't done with this paper. So I have another class called Something New, Book Artistry. And it created this book. This is the very shell of it. This hardly has anything in it at all because I'm just getting started. But I wanted to share this with you because I wanted to share that idea of just kind of maybe what's happening right here in my workspace, of this idea of staying a little bit more focused on a colorway and on a collection for a little while. It will change because I'm going to be using a lot of this up. There won't be that much left because I didn't buy a lot by the time I get through some of the ideas I have in my head, or even by the time I get finished with this book. And so the thing with this is I'm truly enjoying the ideas that I have, putting them to work, staying with a particular collection, and then adding them to this book. And this is going to be a slow grow. It's probably going to take me, I don't know, this is just early April, probably going to take me all the month to add to this. So what you're seeing here, we're going to dive into just a little bit of collecting assemblage. This is what I'm calling assemblage here. We're going to we're going to dive into a little bit of assemblage here in a moment and how some of this came together. I'm not going to go through how the book came together because that's a whole class. And you might recognize this or you may not. This is part of the Favorite Things Florals class. But let me just kind of walk you through this here. So what I'm doing here, well, let me explain. I have already recorded this portion of the video and the audio was not good. So I decided to keep it because I am doing some assembling here with these papers from Perfect Day. But I wanted to come in and just voice back over what I was. So it's not going to be exactly what I was sharing with you. But that's okay. That was for a purpose, and I'm just going to go with it. Because initially here, there are several ideas that I wanted to share with you today. And that is the things that were on my mind. First and foremost was we talked about taking time with the collection, enjoying the collection, getting to know it better, working with it, creating another project. Don't just create one project, create more than one. I shared about this book here from Something New and how it really has sort of transitioned me into this idea at another level. I love that about crafting or learning anything is how we move into these fresh new levels of understanding our art. And so that book is really been, I think I might have shared with you already. I've made 4 of them already. And I just basically keep adding to them. And so they're all different collections, of course. And I haven't added much to that one. But here I am with One Perfect Day because this was the collection that was last on my table because it's what the class Favorite Things Florals came from. So all I did was, I'm going to show you the butterfly here again. And it all started with the butterfly. Then I just started layering the pieces of the butterfly over some pattern paper. This piece here is part of a background that we use in Favorite Things Florals. And I'm just distressing the edges. It's mixed media paper, so it's a little thick to pull away. But I just wanted the pattern to show. I love this pattern as part of One Perfect Day. As you can tell, I'm letting you know with my hands. And so it became part of the assembling here inside this book. It became part of the now embellishing. That's going to be part of this particular book. The other thing I was talking about as I was putting these pieces together was the idea of not needing a reason to make. This is me exercising not needing a reason to make. Way back in the day, I've been doing paper crafting for a long time. It started with cards. Actually, there was a lot of assemblage early on, and then scrapbooking came on the scene, and I still dabble in absolutely every one of those things to this day. It's been a long time of ebbing and flowing into this craft that I just continue to love more and more all the time. And I hear from you all too how much you love it as well, and how it's helped you in different times of your life, how creativity has come alongside to help, whether you are struggling emotionally, whether you are or have experienced losing a family member or are in the midst of caring for a family member, really hard things, all of that, right? Everyday life, the unknown of right now, there's a lot going on. Creativity is a really beautiful thing that comes alongside of us in our lives. In the class Favorite Things Florals, I talk about beauty, and it kind of came out, I tease and I say that I have these TED Talks. Well, I do. No one's hired me yet to do that, but just sign up for my class. You'll hear my TED Talks. I like my TED Talks, but I talked about beauty, and it just came on me, some thoughts about beauty and our participation in beauty. So you can see here in the video, and I keep pausing because I'm talking about all this, and it causes me to pause, and I love that. So what I was talking about supporting the not needing a reason to make is back in the day, I felt guilty for taking time to make. So I had to make a reason why I was making stuff. And at first it was, oh, well, I'm memory keeping for the kids because I don't want them to forget. And then I'd hear later on, years later, Allie Edwards talk about, I scrapbook for me. And it's true. I've had several of my kids leave my home. And where do you think their scrapbook albums are? Oh, yeah, they're not with them. No, they're still here at the family compound inside their shelves, nice and neat. My kids will never take them. It's just not going to happen. I just know how this goes already. And that's okay. And then I started getting onto design teams. So that was my reason. Oh, well, I have a commitment to a design team, so I have to make something. Oh, I was lying to myself. I couldn't just admit to myself that I love to make stuff. I have loved to make stuff since I was a young girl, one way or another. I've loved photography since very early. I loved paper. I've loved writing. And that is what is inspiring this video today, because I have to guess if I'm thinking these things, someone else is thinking these things as well. And maybe you feel like product and collections are just coming your way super fast and you just don't ever get time to just really delve into them. Well, I guess today I'm giving you permission to do that. Take time with your collection. Maybe you feel like you need a reason to make, and that maybe you feel a little guilty for taking time. Well, maybe replace it with something. I'm going to get real honest here because I do think this is a thing. And actually my 14-year-old son and I were talking about this the other day. Maybe we stop paying attention to what's going on in the world around us that we can do nothing about. And we take that energy and we put it to use in making and creating and exploring ideas in our mind and working with the things that come to our heart, and we make things beautiful. I'm becoming a stronger believer of that. You can see here that the laser cuts, I decided to bring those in, and there's a couple things that are going to happen here on this assemblage page that I was pretty happy with when it was all done. I think I extra enjoyed it because I hadn't planned it. When I was recording this originally, I literally did not know I was going to do this next thing right here. It just came to me as I started layering those previous papers and butterfly and foliage, or rather the florals on the page. I have some of this new Stampers Anonymous, these sets that Stampers Anonymous and Tim Holtz have curated. And they're kind of an old but new sort of idea. And they come with these gorgeous stencils. And I had played with this. I don't know if I share it. Yes, it's on the front. It's on the butterfly part. I'd already made this on the butterfly part. So I'm coming in here now and I'm going to add that same motif, if you will, to the back of this. It's one of the solids paper from One Perfect Day. And it takes the ink beautifully. This is Tattered Rose, which you may or may not know, I shouldn't assume that you know, can be a very light color. I love how subtle it was and how the paper picked it up and how beautiful the impression is that was left. See, it's very subtle. You can see a little better in real life. There's a second part to the stencil though, and that is sort of this Baroque type flourish. I don't even know the name of this particular set, and that's okay because that doesn't matter. I'll have these things if you have any interest whatsoever. I will have them listed in the description, and I do appreciate all that have clicked through. I do get a percentage of sales, and it does support this video and the editing and the time it takes to do it. And so I just wanted to make sure you knew I appreciated that whenever you do click through those. And I'm talking here about the second set that I had. I might have picked up a couple of these. I mean, the butterflies. Are you kidding me? The butterflies are so beautiful. And that sentiment, there is beauty in simplicity. Amen. I know I keep adding the layers and you're wondering, are you serious, Jamie? Yeah, I am serious. There is beauty in simplicity. Just wait till it's finished. You'll see what I mean. Trust me. And so there's a second part to the stencil, and I'm coming in here up in the corner, and I'm going to use Victorian Velvet to add another layer. Now, in a video I did recently, I was sharing Hidden Creek by Arden Creative Studio. And I also made a book with that collection. See, are you seeing a theme here? I just keep making these books as I get new collections in. And this particular part of the book was a mixed media page. And so I share that in that video. I will link that as well if you have not seen it and would like to. So this was so much fun. Now I'm just coming in here. I'm going to layer the assemblage pieces again. I've distressed edges. I want to add some more floral to this part of the page. I'm questioning that pattern there. I don't know if I love that pattern. It's very busy. I really love the high contrast of it, so that's why it's there, and I haven't changed my mind yet. But don't be surprised if sometime you come and visit me and you look at my book and that paper's not there, because I may very well have changed it, and I enjoy doing that. Nothing's glued down. When I first did that butterfly I'm sharing here, I used that vintage photo archival ink. And it's a technique where you use a stamp platform, you lay down the original image. I came in and colored it with tattered rose, Victorian velvet, and also antique linen and tattered rose distress spritz. Hello, it is so pretty. And then you go back, after it's dried, then you go back over it with another stamped image. Let me know if you would like to see that technique demonstrated. I don't think it is anything special. I think it's out there a lot, but maybe not. I don't know. I was just kind of playing. I'm trying to decide here where my foliage pieces are going to live. I really do love that they are going to come underneath the pieces that I have here already. The depth and the level of interest that these will be creating is really cool. I really liked it. So of course, always reaching for the foam adhesive to pop these up. I've talked about this tool before. It's very hard to find, and so I'm probably not being very kind using it here, but I really do love pulling up whether it's a leaf or whether it is a flower, I like pulling up the edges a little bit. I decided to go ahead and layer this over the stencil. I decided I liked it connected. I like to have all my pieces kind of touching one way or another. And so I wasn't done. It needed like a little extra little piece. And when it gets finished, by the time it gets finished, it's also going to have a leaf that's tucked in there. And this little assemblage layout just turned out so beautifully. And I think it's because I took my time. And I didn't have to have a reason to add anything to this. And it worked out beautifully for me. So here, I am talking about that stamp again and the technique that I utilized. And I think I could be addicted to this technique. I literally had a scrap of mixed media hanging out here. And so then I just was playing. I was in play mode. I just got these stamps. I didn't know what I was going to do with them. And I think that's a third thing I really want to talk about. With this book, and I have done this previously, I made the book, but I didn't have a reason for the book. I just knew I wanted to make the book. That was it. I think that kind of comes down back to the not needing a reason to make. I decided I don't know what this book is going to be used for. I don't need to make the book. I have plenty of things to make with and to do with. And that's okay. I loved having this as an open-ended opportunity for adding and for making and for putting these pieces together. I have another technique I want to share in this video today, so stay tuned for that, because I also want to share where this book will actually end up going. Does anyone else have a stamp platform and you just keep breaking the magnets? Because I do. And I wondered if it's just me, but you don't have to confess. Those are the Sizzix ones. Sizzix? Maybe they're weird. Maybe they're we are. I can't remember. Oh boy, do I have issues. Okay, so here is my weakness, butterflies. I have taken a piece of One Perfect Day. The back of the packaging has this kind of a gray linen kind of beautiful solid-ish paper. And I'm going to complement the big butterfly with some smaller butterflies. This time I'm going to use Distress Oxide Vintage Photo. I wasn't quite sure if I liked the color yet. So right here, what I'm doing is just testing. This also came out of having these new stamps in the studio. And this was just me playing with them. And you talk about simple beauty. So I'm looking, I'm just moving my magnets around a little bit. And I can't remember if I've already decided that, yes, I'm going to go with this color or not. We'll see here in a minute. But this next addition to my book, because I love these butterflies so much. I mean, I'm not even kidding you. The artwork on these is absolutely fantastic. And I like the vintage photo for this because it really talks to that larger butterfly there in the center of the other page. And sort of like we did, spoiler alert, in the Something New class, I'm going to layer some butterflies onto the acetate. And what I'm going to need to do, I'm going to do 3. What I'm going to need to do, though, is make some twins for them and put them on the back because I don't like the adhesive showing. And so that's my little trick there. But I'm sharing here these other patterns of these butterflies because this next one, and I'm trying to help you see it, and I'm doing a bang up job, let me tell you. Here we go. Isn't that great? Isn't that great? And look at that one there. Oh my word. It just makes me so happy. I know. I get a little giddy. Talk about a craft nerd. She's right here. She's the queen of the craft nerds is what I've decided I am. And I'm proud. I'm very thankful for this reality in my life. Okay, so we're going to stamp these out and we're going to cut these out next. With these all cut out, I'm considering these very simple makes. Nothing fancy about stamping a butterfly and then fussy cutting it out. It's a single ink. There's a lot we could do to make it more interesting. Sometimes the simple is the way to make. Sometimes we've had a really busy day and we don't know what to do with ourselves at the end of the day. My suggestion, instead of doom scrolling, is to take time and unpack something on your workspace, keep the book open, and create space for you to make. And I hope I shared some ideas today. These simple butterflies are my new friends. They're going to be floating on this acetate page here in my book. I will need to make some twins for them for the back, and that will happen as well. For now, though, I just wanted to, come in and just give some encouragement to doing the thing that makes you happy. I hear from you all so often how creating speaks to your soul, it speaks to your mind, it speaks to your heart. Even if it's a simple thing, it does something to our soul, right? We take so much in every day. There is so much information to be had on the daily. Like when my son and I were talking, I kind of even challenged him with that. Do you think we just take too much in? And then we're exhausted and we don't have much left. I think that's something to think about as well. And so taking a collection that has found joy in your life and playing it out again and again, bringing some other patterns into it like I did there with that inky background, finding some stamps in your stash that go with the collection that you can then rediscover those stamps, decide on a single ink to stamp it with, cut them out, go slow. That's my encouragement this week, especially as we go into a holiday week. Maybe that's something that you can bring into your life right now. Make something beautiful today because you want to. You don't have to have an excuse. Just enjoy the process.